Unwanted Pellicle, sprinkling versus hydrating dry yeast, and when to rack your batch. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 467. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. Click on that submit a question link at the top of the page. You can email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com. But even better, call it into 325-305-6107. Leave a message after the beep. I love hearing your voice. I am your host, Joshua Stubing, and I have such a treat today. She's back. I've guilted her into coming once again. I gave her the whole, I lost my job. Nobody loves me. Please help me. Oh, it's Miss Lorena Evans from Brewer's Friend. You know her as Youper. Youper Brew or Youper's Brew? It's Youper Brew, no plural, right?
No, I'm not plural.
Yeah,
this is one of me.
But
Thank God.
Is the brew plural? Is it Youper Brew or Youper Brews?
Youper Brew.
Brew. Gotcha. Okay. I'll get it right one of these times.
Because I brew, I don't bruise.
You don't bruise? You don't make multiple brews? Is that not, that's, I guess, bad grammar to say, like, all the beer. No, that would be all the beer I've brewed. Check out all the brews in my Keyser. No, you'd say, look, check out. I don't know.
That actually kind of sounds dirty. I don't think you should say that in a mixed audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check out my brews in my Keyser.
Check out hey, come to my garage and check out what I have in my fridge. Hey. Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, creepy.
I could do creepy. And
you can.
One of my bragging points, like when I was a kid, I thought you were rich if you had a garage fridge. And I'm going to dispel that myth right now. You don't have to have money. I have 4 garage fridges and I am broke. So it's like, look at me. Look where I've come. Look how far I've come. 12-year-old me would be impressed with 40-year-old me. 4 fridges? How much money do you make? You're not going to believe this, kid. I'm unemployed. You're not going to let me tell you all about being 40. Anyway, this is not that episode. I will say last week, I realized drama content is so much better than normal content because I did the Get Connection shut down and all. It's way on YouTube specifically performing way better than all the other videos. So for this episode, it has to be like, did Lorena punch me? Find out on this week's episode. Like I have to figure out week to week drama. I just don't know.
I would go with the hockey aspect and ask if I've body checked you.
Yeah. Well, I forget where geographically hockey's not a thing where I am. I didn't even think about that.
No way. You don't play hockey in South Texas?
Yeah. Right. Isn't that crazy?
I know. What are they thinking?
Right now, because you're a winter Floridian, is there even a NHL team in Florida? Does Florida have NHL? Dude, I don't follow the sport. Do I have to edit that out? Do I sound so stupid? You
do sound stupid. Take that out. The Tampa Bay Lightning is Stanley Cup winners.
Oh,
the Florida Panthers had several people on the Olympic team, and they won gold.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that we won gold. I can't even pretend to like stuff I'm not into. Like, you know how hard it is to go to one of my kids' like high school volleyball game or middle school volleyball games and be like, good try. And I just can't fake it. Like, I cannot fake it.
Tell me you watch curling, though, and you understand curling.
I don't. I know. I'm
good. Because yeah. I don't understand it. And I think if you understand curling, we have got to talk.
Yeah, we'd have to. Yeah, we'd have. You don't watch hockey, but you watch curling? No, I would. I mean, I like obscure sports. Like, I'm really into sumo. I have been for the better part of 12 years. But I'm more of a combat sport guy. Any kind of wrestling. It makes people question me, sure. But like, they're like, so all the sports, it's like male on male contact, shirtless. Sumo, they're basically just wearing diapers. That's what you're into? Yeah, when you word it that way, I guess.
That sounds kind of weird.
A little bit. Like, come into my garage. I'll show you my sumo stuff. Look, see, I tie everything together. Anyway,
I don't want to go in your garage ever. Remind me when I stop over. I'm not going in your garage.
I was telling you before we recorded, and I'm working on this actively, but I did get my first rejection from an application. And if I do the Josh needs a job YouTube channel. I'll talk about it there more. But I am advocating for myself on that front, so I won't throw them too far under the bus. But I should not have put all over my resume my love for cuddling men in pajamas and sumo men. I could take that out. I might take that out of my resume.
I would say that it would be okay to take that out.
Okay. You give me permission? Okay.
I think that would be an okay move.
Yeah.
Especially when you mentioned that you like to be on the floor with men holding you.
In between my legs. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's in academia, this job. That might get me a gig. They might go, whoa, this guy's progressive.
Even for academia, it's...
I'll try. I'm going to read. If anyone watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, or like the 99% of y'all that just consume the audio, if y'all are experts in resume crafting, hit me up. I could probably use the help because I thought I did great. And they're like, we've determined that you're not qualified. And I went through and I'm like, what on earth did they see that makes me? But to be fair, I'm no stranger to criticism. Go to our Apple podcast reviews and see the criticism that I am accustomed to. I'm no stranger.
You're not even referring to my criticism?
No. Oh, you're like, yeah. You're in the same realm as Todd or my pop or every other person in my life that knows me well. Like, it just goes in and out the ear. Like, I hear it. I'm like, yeah, she hits me because she loves me. That kind of...
To take you more off topic even, one of the reasons I fell madly in love with my husband was when I insulted him.
Yeah.
He'd go, that's a good one. And he would laugh.
Yeah.
How can you not love somebody that can laugh?
I agree. I think self-deprecation was one of my bullet points on my resume. It was
Again, let's talk about that resume a little bit later.
We'll recraft it. And let me get through. I have a tiny bit of small talk before we have actual stuff on the episode. My friends.
But I have time to drink a beer.
Yeah, you do. Because I'm going to put something else on the screen. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited for the month of March. We are doing a Pliny the Elder clone, calling it West Coast Legend. You see the artwork if you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. And I am so pumped to get this out. Hopsterette, my buddy Matt over there, hooked me up. It is... Lorena, have you ever brewed a clone of Pliny?
I have made several attempts. Some were really good, but they were not Pliny. And yours is going to be great. I just know it.
But also, I did not realize how much hops go into it.
You need a bucket.
Yeah.
A bucket.
Hopsterette, I feel I'm so fortunate. They're longtime supporters, and I gave them the needs. And let's just say it was 2 massive boxes just arrived. Yeah, I have so much hops. I as I'm working right now with another possible sponsor, and that's all I can really say right now. But as I'm working with someone else, another company, I'm trying to tell them I'm not in the business of trying to be a homebrew supply shop. Like, I don't want to store that much, but the shipment I received just to get Pliny out to the amount of recipe kits I project us to have for March, it's a lot. It's a very premium kit. I'm very excited about that. So friends, go to patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. I am actually going to be strict this month. Some people will join the every other month. And the rules of the every other month is $40. You don't get your kit till the second month. And 9 out of 10 times, though, when people join, they're like, hey, can I go ahead and get this one? And then, I'll skip next month. And I'm usually okay with it. There's a lot of overhead on this kit where I'm like, I've been burned half a dozen times where people are like, can I get this month? But the next month I'll, skip. But then they totally kill their membership. So they got a discounted kit. Okay, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you're not going to fool me again, or whatever George W. said in 2001. But like, you're not going to fool me again. So if you do join the every other month, you're not going to get the Pliny. But go join the every month, and I'll get it for you. But people who are qualified for the every other month, don't worry about it. Just hit me up and you will get it if you've already been a member. Thank you to our sponsors, Hopsterette, Monster Brewing Hardware, and our newest one, Cellar Science, giving us premium dry yeast. They've just upped the cell count as well for their all their sachets. They went from 12 grams to 15 grams. It is a lot packed in. I've got my pop and I on Friday brewed the blonde ale recipe. Lorena and I are recording this on a Tuesday, so people don't hear this when I publish it and go, well, that's been a long time. Of course it's it was churning. I'm so happy with it. I'm probably going to keg it either tonight No, I'm training tonight, tomorrow morning. Because guess what? I have nothing else to do tomorrow morning after I drop my kids off besides send more applications and get rejected.
Well, wait a minute. Tell me the important thing.
What's the important thing?
This yeast strain
Mm-hmm.
for your blonde ale, what's the name of it?
English from Cellar Science.
Oh, you did it English. English yeast?
Off the recommendation of the brewmaster at Real Ale, who
Okay.
this is his recipe. I came to him. I did the interview. His name's Brad Farbstein. Just like in January with the Shiner interview.
Right.
And they give us their feedback on the recipe I come with. And he had suggested some things. And for the yeast strain, I said, hey, I'm thinking about, online, most people say English strain for years, but I was thinking about a Chico. And he goes, Chico is going to dry it up too much. Go with the English strain to get those esters that we want you to have in this beer. So
what's the name of the beer that you're cloning?
Fireman's 4.
The Fireman's 4. That's one. Right. I think that's their best seller too.
Yeah, it is their best seller. It's now I'm sticking to, like, my goal for this year is doing flagship beers in the craft beer realm.
Right.
Fireman's 4 is phenomenal, and I love it, and I'm excited to have this on tap. If it were up to me, I would have done a Hans Pils, but that's not the story. You know what I mean? The story, right. Fireman's 4 brought them to where they're at. Fireman's 4 is still, that'd be like doing Shinerbach and going, but I prefer Shiner Light, or what, Yeah, but that's not the story we're telling. This is about what got there. Yeah. But Hans Pils, I don't think they distribute any of their beer outside of Texas, but Real Ale's Hans Pils, best domestic brewed German Pilsner in the country. It is stupid good. It is so good. It's like Warsteiner, just so, which people drink like a good German Pils, and they're like, that's easy. There's nothing going on. Try brewing it. You can't, like, every flaw you might have during any part of the brewing process is going to come out in a German Pils or a Czech Pils or any straightforward lager like that. Like, it just will. So to have it, I respect breweries that can consistently brew a straightforward beer and not have any flaws. Like, even giving macro breweries credit, right? I hate doing that on air.
I know, but you've never had a Budweiser that didn't taste like a Budweiser.
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. That is just mind-blowing that they can. Right. Science is cool, y'all. The way they figured it out. But either way, Patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Again, thank you to all the sponsors. I don't have a brew day live scheduled yet because I haven't asked my pop when he wants to brew. Now, he's been retired for like 8 years, and I've been unemployed now for like 3 weeks. Maybe we'll do Brew Day Live Tuesdays. Brew Day Live. We do whatever we want, man. We're just two wild and crazy guys. We can just the look you're giving me is of like pseudo concern of like I'm watching Josh's downward
I'm starting
spiral.
to get a little worried about you.
Did you see the little video resume I made for myself that I put on last week's episode? Or I'll send it to you privately. My wife saw that and she goes, hand on my back, honey, I'm getting legitimately worried about you. And like, are you okay? I was like, what are you talking about? This is great. This is going to get me a job. She goes, oh, honey. But we'll see.
Well, it depends what your job goal is. If you want to double as an inmate in an insane asylum, I think that would be right up your alley.
I could do that. I have on my resume a bunch of creative stuff. I could do janitorial. I actually am a decent juggler. I'm, like I've said it before, I'm very versatile and very hireable. And available.
You're very multi-talented.
Yes. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yep. My mom says I have a good personality. We can leave it at...
I heard your mom said you were special.
Yeah, she did. And I told you.
She did.
Yeah, she did. We'll also leave it at that. The things that go into my brain that I want to say out loud, I'm a mature adult when I'm just like, nope, just stop it there. This episode is brought to you by Cellar Science. For years, homebrewers have been told they have to choose. Do you want the quality of liquid yeast or the convenience of dry? Well, Cellar Science flipped the script. They're proving that dry yeast isn't just a backup plan anymore, it's the upgrade. Cellar Science offers premium dry yeast that delivers higher cell counts than typical liquid pitches, meaning you get a stronger, healthier fermentation without the hassle. And the best part? You can direct pitch right into your wort, no starters, no waiting, just brewing. Whether you need their new West Coast strain for a classic American IPA or jungle for a massive fruity estery flavor, they've got your next batch covered. It's quality yeast that doesn't break the bank. Save time, save money, and brew better beer with Cellar Science. I don't have any listener feedback for us this week, but I do have 3 questions, Lorena. If you're ready, let's get into it.
I'm ready.
With the gong of questions. Question number 1 is an email from our buddy Mark, and he wrote in, longtime listener, first time panicked emailer here. Yeah, I've got a West Coast IPA that's been sitting in a 5-gallon plastic bucket for about a week. I went to check the gravity today, and when I popped the lid, I didn't see the usual clean surface. Instead, there's a thin, white, chalky-looking film spreading across the top with a few tiny translucent bubbles that look a bit veiny. That sounds disgusting. I'm guessing I've got a pellicle forming.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Right. My sanitation is usually on point. Shout out to Star Sand, but I'm worried I might have a leak in the bucket seal or something. So he has a list. My questions for the show. Number 1, is the batch a total loss, or should I try to rack from underneath it and keg it immediately? Number 2, if it is an infection, do I need to toss this bucket to avoid infecting my future batches, or can it be saved with a deep soak? And number 3, have either of you, I had to add that in because he had named it. Have you ever accidentally brewed a sour this way and had it actually turn out drinkable? You've already addressed the first part. It is a pellicle. And
there's no doubt. Especially, he said it was in the fermenter a week. So usually you only see a pellicle like when there's a lot of headspace long after fermentation is finished and there's oxygen ingress. So yeah, that just screams infection, contamination, just right there. The question though was, should he rack below it and keg it? Sure. Why not? What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
It's all, if instead of dumping it out. What I would suggest though is, if you haven't done it already, I'm not sure when he emailed you, is use some potassium metabisulfite. You may have it on hand as Camden tablets. If not, any homebrew store has it, because not only will that likely forestall any further contamination, depending on what microbe it is, a lot of brewers use it at packaging as an antioxidant.
Oh.
So no harm, a lot of people, especially when you're doing hazies and other real oxygen sensitive beers, more so than others, they will throw some Camden or metabisulfite in there for oxygen, to prevent oxidation. So if you have that, great. Don't need a lot. Small dosage is fine. Rack from under it, try to leave it behind, put it in the fridge right away, carb it up, and drink it until it tastes bad.
Yeah.
That's my advice. That's what I would do.
Otherwise, otherwise you don't know. I mean, worst case, he rats it and it's already like you just said, your first observation was, wow, after a week and it's already there. That's not good. I imagine it's already affected the integrity of the batch in regards to, it's not going to taste
likely.
Right? It's not going to be the same.
I guess you bring up a good point, Josh. You know what? Use a turkey-based stirrer wine thief from below the pellicle, pull up a sample, and if it tastes as bad as it looks, probably don't keg it, because then you got to mess in your lines and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
But if there's a possibility of saving it, why not? Which, can we skip right to question 3 then?
Yeah,
because
yes. So I'll come back to 2. Go to 3.
Because an unintentional sour, I have never heard of one that was successful. I don't know. I've only been doing it for 30 years, though. So, there are people that brew farmhouse things, and it sounds wild. And no, in order to brew, like if you were at Jester King in Texas, okay, their farmhouse, their sours, they're very well controlled sours. They're not like, oh, this looks like it's spoiled, let's drink it, right? It's not that. It's very well controlled for contamination, but it's not. Usually it's inoculated with something. I mean, it's an intentional. Like, I'm an old cheesemaker. If we were going to make blue cheese, we don't just like put it outside in the air and let it mold, right? We put a inoculant in there. So yeah, have you ever brewed a sour on purpose?
No, never. Nope.
Ever not on purpose?
Yes, once.
Yeah. And how'd it taste?
It was so bad. It was, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If it smells like feet right out of, don't even. But yeah, if it's palatable, I try to save it. The key there too is now we go to question 2 with your bucket. If you do keg this, I would suggest even putting a picnic tap on it with some beer line you don't really care about, because you can run it through your kegerator, and then if it is a contamination that is not controlled by cold temperatures, then you gotta change your lines, you got a problem in your in your faucet.
Headache.
So I would
Just a
say,
headache. Yeah.
yeah, put a little beer line on it, little picnic tap, and if it's good, that's great. If it's not good and you can drink it fast. If it's bad, pitch it, because the keg is stainless. You can not worry about cleaning
Yeah.
that and sanitizing that. You might need new O-rings, though.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I didn't that is one piece of gear we always tell people to keep on hand is extra O-rings, O-ring lube, and just because stuff like that, like you're saying, like where
Yeah,
the
and
stainless
even the
steel.
little rubber on the poppets.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you need all that on hand. You may never need it, but in a case like this, yeah, why risk another batch to save $1.50, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so that goes same with the bucket. Okay, how attached are you to that $12
That
bucket?
$12 bet.
And if that, and I guess what made me really think about this is if that contamination was so obvious after a week, 1 week, I'm
Um,
sure you said 1 week,
yeah, he did. Yep.
that tells me maybe it's in a crack or a
Yeah.
scratch or something. You can bleach the heck out of it, but just throw the bucket away.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like you got something worth $100 there. Just
Yeah.
pitch it and start over. But also, it wouldn't be a bad idea to double check your airlocks and all those things, or the lid on the gasket or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would just pitch the whole thing if it's affordable.
I'm with you completely. A plastic bucket getting infected is a best case scenario in regards to budget. If it was his 15-gallon high end stainless steel conical, then you're like, oh God, I got to save this. I got to do something, or I'm just brewing farmhouse and sours for the rest of my life out of principle,
and not good ones,
and not good ones either, and not even good ones. Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with you. I mean, if it were me and I saw it, I probably, like you said, the wine thief, that's the best idea. Taste it from there. And if it's acceptable, Mark, keg it. But just knowing you should replace a lot of those contact points, the gaskets on that keg when it's done. For me, I can't fathom it being good enough to want to even try. I just be, you know what? I don't want that going through my lines, my falls. I don't want it happened. Live and learn. I'm gonna get another bucket, and life goes on. I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, it is a good point though that your sanitation, you could do everything right on paper, but there's some microscopic flaw from. I guess with plastic buckets, that could happen if you're using hard bristled brushes. That would cause enough of
could
it.
be. There could have been some pieces of grain that were covered in lactobacillus that fell in, or the boil wasn't hard enough in one spot. Or another place I've seen contamination unexpectedly is after the boil. If you've never taken your ball valve off of your, especially if you've got like a kegel or a brew kettle that has a ball valve, for fun, take that off. And then I swear to God, you'll go, "Ew." And I know it's boiled, I know this, but there's still some microbes that might not be. Yeah. So
I've always
try it.
people. Do you use a plate chiller? Have you ever used a plate chiller?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't use a plate chiller. I tried. I used so many hops that I closed it up right away.
Okay.
So I just now mostly I went to a counterflow, which was slightly better.
Yeah.
I'm back to an immersion chiller now just because of the stuff in my kettle. Oh my word.
I bring up that because I won't name any names. They watch the show. I know people personally who use plate chillers and they don't
They're great.
thoroughly clean them out though. But they're like, oh, but I boil the heck out of them, so they're sanitized. Yeah, okay, but all that crap that's still in there, but it's sanitized crap. Okay, that still makes me feel a little weird. Running fresh wort over sanitized crap, but whatever, it's sanitized. No. I
have talked to people that have baked their plate chiller and then shaken it, and like things come out.
I know. I believe it.
Like,
not for me. It is not for me. Anyways, though, Mark, I think we got that question pretty much covered. You're lucky it was a bucket, Mark, and be grateful that you can replace those for very affordable. That is not too big of a overhead thing, but bummer about the lost batch. I guess we could. This episode is brought to you by brewersfriend.com. Brewing beer at home isn't just about ingredients, it is about precision, and that's where brewersfriend.com comes in. Whether you're dialing in your first recipe or perfecting your 100th, Brewer's Friend gives you the tools to brew with confidence. Their recipe builder, mash calculators, and water profile database helps take the guesswork out of the process so you can focus on what matters, making great beer. Brewer's Friend isn't just software, it's a community of passionate homebrewers sharing recipes, tips, and feedback. It's like having a homebrew club right in your pocket. Head over to brewersfriend.com today and take your homebrewing to the next level. Use promo code Happy Hour and get 25% off your premium membership. That's brewersfriend.com, because brewing better starts with better tools. Anyways, Mark, thank you so much for submitting that question. Moving on, gong of questions. Brings us to question number 2. It's another email from our buddy Ethan, and he wrote, "Hey Joshua, I'm about to brew a pretty high-gravity Russian Imperial Stout, and I'm hitting a bit of a mental roadblock with yeast prep." What did my phone do? There we go. For as long as I've been brewing, I was taught that rehydrating dry yeast in warm, sterile water was a non-negotiable, and that it was the only way to ensure the cell walls stay intact before hitting wort. Lately, though, I've been reading from major yeast labs, and they're saying we can just sprinkle directly into the fermenter. It sounds like a great way to save my time and reduce the risk of contamination. I can't help but feel like I'm setting myself up for a sluggish fermentation, though, or some unwanted esters if I skip the rehydration step. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Is the sprinkle and pray method reliable for a big beer, or should I stick to an old school method of waking them up in a bowl of water first? I don't want to be lazy if it means compromising the quality of a beer I've put this much effort into. I don't know. I can't relate on not being lazy. Like, is sprinkling not always been a thing? I mean, I've been using liquid yeast for forever, but when I do have to use dry, I've never in my life. My pop and I have been brewing together for almost 10 years, and I've been brewing with Todd in some form or fashion for like 17 years. I can't think of a time that I actually hydrated it. I thought you always just open and sprinkle. I didn't know hydration was
no, it has really, for many, many years, been recommended to do that, to rehydrate according to package directions, because you'll have a much better survival rate. There's been some experiments that, now kind of differ, but I think what the companies are doing now is just giving you enough yeast cells, so if you lose 22% of them or whatever that figure would be, sprinkling's fine.
Yeah.
Russian Imperial Stout, though, is a lager, tends to be. So if you're doing it as a lager, you already know you need a boatload of yeast. So I don't want to use the word lazy. I want to use it energy efficient brewer that I am. Josh is lazy. I'm energy efficient.
That's right. That's right.
I would either consider rehydrating anyway, depending on what yeast brand you're using. Some of the newer yeast producers say, "Oh, don't do that. Don't do that." I might listen to that, but I would make sure I'd use more than enough yeast by using a yeast calculator, and then maybe adding a little more if you're going to sprinkle. One of the things you do when you sprinkle, Josh, since this isn't a thing for you, I do it when I make wine too. They don't, due to the osmotic pressure that's in there when you put it in the must and say the SG, like when I make wine, it's like 1090 or more. They suggest you sprinkle, just let it sit, don't stir, and let it rehydrate itself.
Right.
Apparently that still can rupture some cells. So that's what I'm talking about sprinkling. I'm not talking about dumping in these packs and stirring it all up, but you can do that. But I would definitely do the yeast pitching calculator and even consider like 20% more than suggested, because you might lose 20 or 30% of those yeast cells.
That's a good point. And Brewer's Friend, you can use promo code Happy Hour. I think I actually already ran an ad. This is the first episode where I'm doing host read ads, but I'm already recorded them and I'm just injecting them throughout the episode. So if you already heard a Brewer's Friend ad, I'm sorry guys, because I'm recording this before actually editing it, obviously.
Well, that, and I was going to say it anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I have. Well, sometimes you are so humble and modest that you like frequently in episodes. I'm talking about with promoting the things that you do because.
Yeah.
And people have noticed that it's not just me, where they're like, she'll say, use a brewing calculator. No, you say, use Brewer's Friend. And if you're not a premium member, sign up using promo code Happy Hour, all one word, save you 25% off your membership. You got to say that. You got to use because y'all have a gazillion calculators. In fact,
we do.
Homebrew Happy Hour, we used to have calculators on the site. Every time I'd update the site, I'd have to go back in and redo I was finally like, you know what? We're done. I'm just redirecting people to Brewer's Friend. I'm done. Why reinvent the wheel? They already exist on that website and in the app. And the apps that y'all have had launched now, I think we can all confidently say work great. So
they work great.
They work great. Yeah. It was a lot of work too, to get to that point where all the platforms had, this continuous, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're all, it functions how it's supposed to, and universally across platforms, web-based, iOS or Android. I'm doing an ad right now for Brewer's Friend.
Thank you.
I'm not even going
to give you a 25% discount on a premium subscription. I got to talk to the boss though.
My email, it came up that my subscription expired, but it was from you, but it was the automated from you, and so it was a double whammy. It was Robo Lorena canceled my subscription and is telling me I need to update it. I thought I had lifetime, and Robo Lorena says I give it, then I take it away. You have no more. Robo Lorena's terrifying.
I know people, so you just reach out to me. I know people.
And I've been, this whole unemployment thing, I've been just getting points lately, dude, with like, people have been reaching out, hey, buddy, you doing okay? And I'm like, I guess I'm doing fine. When inside, I'm like, unemployed life doesn't feel that different from when I was employed. Maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that on your resume.
Okay, yeah. I'll scrub that. Nobody who I've applied to even watches this crap. They're not going to see it. Let's be real. Like, they've made it. This is 30 some odd minutes into the show. They dropped out after 5. I have friends that are like, bro, like our YouTube stats get so bad because people discover us, like the podcast episodes, but they, after 10 minutes, are like, because if they're not really into the hobby, why would they watch it? So like our retention rate is like, the average watch time is like 11 and a half minutes. I'm like, oh God, because that's why I've been doing chapters. Like, hey, scrub to the part that you want to see. And then I'm hoping that's why retention is low. Maybe people don't care about the infected bucket, but they do care about the yeast pitching for an imperial stout. But either way, I'm digressing, and I've already lost 5,000 viewers potential.
Well, you know what? We can do a session, so that way there's something to look forward to.
I like that. Here's a joke. My professional career. Show. Hold on, I actually have. Hold on. No, wait. There we go. My soundboard has 3 effects.
That's a good one. That's a better one.
Okay. Anyway, we've lost all viewers now. They're all gone.
We could just talk amongst ourselves.
We could, Yep. This is the homebrew digression hour. But anyway, no. So I like what you're saying though. Bringing it back to Ethan's question. So you actually grade my efforts on sprinkling right now. My pop and I used dry yeast for the first time on purpose for the first time in a while. And we use that English, and we're doing a 10-gallon batch. So we had about 11 gallons of wort. And towards the end, I put in both sachets and I sprinkled it. And then the top, like we still had about a gallon left coming in to come on top, kind of rouse the oxygenate, whatever, and rouse it. And then we put the lid on. I use a all-rounder from Kedland. I got it at More Beer, the Firmzilla. That was the word I was looking for. And put the lid on. I shake it up and this and that. You think that's bad? Okay.
I think it's not ideal.
Okay.
What I would do is do all my oxygenation first
And then
whatever you're
pitch.
going to do, then sprinkle and walk away because it will rehydrate. Now, you've got an explosive fermentation going there, so you certainly have enough
Yeah, it
yeast
worked. Yeah,
cells.
yeah. They just upped their packages. Yeah.
So right, and it's probably fine, but to be especially if you've got a higher gravity beer. I mean, this Russian Imperial Stout that Ethan's doing is like 1.1,
He put
right?
that, yeah,
It's
he put that,
huge,
yeah,
huge. So that's like wine type
yeah.
amount of sugar in there. So you want to do everything possible you can to maximize your cell count.
Yeah. And like you said, to wrap this up, but to touch on that point, yeast manufacturers cover their bases with so many cells because the average brewer is marginally smarter than me. I'm the baseline. Ugh. Like, there's just, we got to make it to where we can just tell this guy, open one pouch for a 5-gallon batch and put it in. In the olden days, y'all had to literally weigh it out, calculate. And like 20 years ago, you're buying bulk yeast at your grocery store, or if you could get, I say 20, actually more than that, probably 30 years ago. But it was actually more of an involved process where now, because I'm the average consumer, but I'm the average consumer, they're making it to where, okay, just Josh can remember one pouch for 5 gallons. Okay, deal. And they load it with more because the viability may be less because all I'm doing is like a dumb gorilla shaking stuff or whatever. But
well, that and they do change some of the things they're doing, like maybe packaging it with a little more, well, what I'm saying is the technology has gotten better, so they're able to already give you more viable yeast cells to begin with.
I know people have heard this, but I have to probably say it every episode now. I'm obligated. It is the best time ever to be alive as a home brewer. It really is. We are living, and it's such a bummer with the hobby being in the state it is, as in it's never been mainstream, but it's never been lower or further away from mainstream than it is now. That's not going to stop me and my pop from brewing and enjoying it, but it is wild to me that with technology, we're living in the best time ever to be a home brewer, and it seems like nationally, less people are interested in home brewing. It's weird.
Well, I think less people are interested in beer in general.
Yeah, they are.
You go to your stores and there's like an entire aisle of
seltzers or non-alcoholic too. Hop waters and hop teas and athletic brewing. If I did another web ad for athletic brewing, insert mid-roll. Today's show is brought to you by Athletic Brewing. I wish they have a great ad budget, apparently. I hear them every podcast I listen to. I hear an ad break for Athletic Brewing, non-alcoholic. To me, that's wild. I guess it's because I don't have a drinking problem. I promise, Mom, I don't have a drinking problem where I can't imagine like, hey, I want to drink this pale ale, but I don't want it to affect me at all. Like,
I'm embarrassed to tell you that on a Friday, I got off work early off the boat, and we went over to our favorite pub for their in-water golf tournament. And sometime I will explain that a little more. I was driving. I was hot. I was thirsty. I had my first good NA beer.
Oh,
it was good.
Shout them out. Who was it? Was it Athletic?
It was but it was a Heineken 0.0.
No, I've seen so Heineken sponsors shows too, and I've seen them on like YouTube, and I never it was actually good. You're vouching.
Was good, and there was a Bud. What started this was my friend was drinking, and of course I'm like, I can't drink. What are you drinking? And she held up a weird looking Budweiser can. And I'm like, oh, I don't really drink Bud. And she goes, oh, it's no alcohol. And I go, well, I remember old Duels from like, 30 years ago?
40,
tasted like syrup. It wasn't good. And I'm like, yeah, right. She goes, no, try it. And I go, I don't want to try it, but I'll go inside. I go inside. I go, you got no non-alcohol beers? She goes, yeah. She goes, we have 2 0.0s. And I said, oh, what do you got? She goes, Bud for $3, Heineken for $5. And I went, oh gosh, I don't know. Guy behind me goes, hey, Lorena, good to see you. I was going to buy you a beer.
Booyah!
I'll take the Heineken. And it tasted like Heineken. Now you got to like Heineken, but on a hot day, it was
refreshing.
Good.
Yeah.
So I now am, I like my IPAs in the evening when I'm not driving, but when you're out, the lawnmower beers, under 3%, they're fabulous. 0%, zero is even better if you're driving, folks.
Man, I've got to try out the Heineken one just so we can have a conversation next time you're on, where I can say you were wrong, you lied to me. Or
now
I'll
you're starting to selling my husband.
Yeah. If I had a nickel every time, yeah, my wife was like, "You lied to me." I was like, "No, I thought you knew I was joking. I had no idea." But anyways, I've gotten us so far off the question. Ethan.
Oh, yeah.
No, but we wrapped it up. Ethan, thank you so
We
much
got
for
it.
submitting that
We got
question.
that's Ethan's answer,
We
right?
got to it. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsterette.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsterette.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsterette.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsterette.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsterette.com. And a final reminder, friends, if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, smash that like button, comment with anything about the show. If you have a question, leave it there. I'm told between the liking and the commenting that the algorithm thinks that that's pretty cool. And so it helps out with the reach. And did I mention I'm unemployed and I need all that? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I told you before we recorded, I wanted to do more drama content. I almost poured stuff in my eyes to make it look puffy and crying, but I had more integrity, slightly more integrity than that. Just slightly, a little bit. The bar is here and I'm just like kind of hovering over it.
Okay, then.
Yeah, barely. Anyway, that means we've got one final question, and the gong of questions brings us to question number 3. It's an email from our buddy Nate, who wrote, "When I first started, everyone told me 2 weeks in primary, then bottle. But lately, I've been reading that for average pails and ambers, the yeast can usually be done with the heavy lifting in 5 or 6 days. My brewing buddy insists that leaving it on the yeast cake for a full 14 days is cleaning up all flavors like diacetyl, but I'm itching to get my beer into my keg faster so I can free up the fermenter for the next batch. I've started taking gravity readings, and my last few batches have hit terminal gravity by day 5. If the gravity is stable for 2 or 3 days, am I gaining anything by letting it sit there for another week? I'd love to hear your take on whether you think the calendar or the hydrometer should be the boss of my fermentation schedule. Is there a middle ground where I can speed up my pipeline without ending up with a butter bomb of a beer? Thanks for all the great advice you share on the show. Cheers, Nate."
Wow. Yeah, that's like phrased as a simple question, but the answer is pretty complex.
Yeah.
First of all, I've been brewing a really long time when it was the 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 1, 2, 3.
No.
1 week in primary, 2 weeks in secondary, 3 weeks in the bottle, then put it in the fridge. Okay, so that's how old I am. But one of the things that you have to understand, we try to simplify everything for most people, because if you were going to start your brew day and here we are and we're going to do an all grain batch and I tell you everything about diacetyl and about chloramines and chlorine, you're never going to brew.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
So we've really tried to make it simple. And so your friend is saying, what, 1 week, 2 weeks primary and then keg?
Yeah.
That's not a bad rule of thumb.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good rule of thumb. However, I also usually pitch enough yeast at the beginning, healthy yeast, so that my beer it's pretty much fully done in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Not lagers always, but even lagers sometimes with enough yeast. This cleanup phase is really, really important, and you definitely want to have the yeast finished. But here's the deal with the cleanup. Yeast do not clean up diacetyl once they've flocculated out. Yeast on the bottom of the fermenter is not doing a dang thing. Now, you can leave it there without harm, although I have to tell you, if I'm doing like a light lager or like a light blonde, if the beer sits on the yeast cake for about 3 weeks, I actually can taste some yeast character. It's not that clean to me. Everybody else be like, "Oh, I love my..." No, there is a flavor impact. There is. Now, is it good? Is it bad? Yeah.
Subjective.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could go either way. It could be very good. Anyway, the point is, the beer's done. It's not going to get doner if it sits longer. It's done. After 2 days at a stable gravity, there's no fermentation happening. But before I would keg it, I would look at it and make sure it's pretty clear. Whether you're kegging or bottling, you do not want all suspended solids in there. So there's no harm in letting it sit a little bit longer or cold crash it at that point and then rack it. I almost always keg my beers by day 10. Almost always. And I make IPAs. So they're bigger beers and they're all done within about 5 days.
Yeah, we do readings. I say we brew at my house and I ferment here in my office. And during the winter months, I can actually hit temperature. Don't have to do it under pressure. A lot of the times, though, during the summer, we're doing it under pressure, room temp. We've had great beer. I'll take gravity readings after day 4 or 5, and if it's there, I keg. And then I use the floating dip tube from Trong. I sent you one, I believe.
Yes, I got one. I haven't had a chance to use it yet.
Oh, dude, let me know when you do. That's my favorite piece of gear of all time. The Float It 2.0 from Trong. I gotta hit up Tron. Maybe he'll want to throw money at this show. Anyway, the Float It. Yeah, I know. Everything now is a pitch. Hey, dude, we have dozens of listeners. Come sponsor the Homebrew Happy Hour.
Yeah, send me a Homebrew Happy Hour T-shirt. I'll wear it on every.
Hey, yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I have like 4XL. Not saying that you are. I'm saying I have. I shouldn't have started there because then that sounded insulting. I have sizes up to 4XL. If people are listening and they want to buy it, go to homebrewhappyhour.com or send me a Venmo. Anyway. I take a reading, and if it's there, I keg it. The float, I will cold condition for like 24 hours before I put gas on it, and then I leave it on the serving pressure gas for, if I can, at least 2 weeks, if not longer, before we tap into it. And I have found that combination with the Float It ensures that my first pour, even if there was some sediment brought over because of the hastiness of the process or how we're doing it, that Float It filters it out so good. The first pour after 2 to 3 weeks of proper cold conditioning and properly carbonated, oh my God. Oh, chef's kiss.
Yeah, clear as can be.
Clear as can be. It's beautiful. It tastes great. I have made the mistake because I'm lazy. We all agree. My pop and I brewed for conversation's sake. We brewed on, I forgot what year it was, but January 1st. And I didn't keg it until the brew day live, like 6 weeks or 7 weeks later. We could taste the yeast cake, having it just sit on there for that long. It was not good. It wasn't like undrinkable. It just wasn't desirable. It wasn't what we were going for. And it ruined a perfectly good
for
batch.
many, many, many years, everybody said, get it off after 1 week because it'll autolyze. It won't really autolyze that fast, that much. And the pressure in homebrew is 5 gallons versus, a 7 barrel, right? Yeah. So that's more pressure. But I do pick up yeast character. Some people don't. Some people love that. But there's a yeast character to me. So I do. I mean, yeah, have I ever left it 3 weeks on accident? Well, not on accident, but just not. Yeah, it's okay. It's laziness. But
I got you.
You got me. You got me.
Hey, let me interrupt you real quick. You taste stuff. You're trained to taste it. When you say others don't, are you describing other people who are BJCP qualified, or are you just talking about normies like me?
Normies. Okay. Well, I wouldn't call you normal, but your average homebrewer who is not maybe trained in sensory perception, maybe, but some people might. Yeah. Because it looks good. It's nice and clear. And I actually have gone to a local brewery, and it's a little tiny middle of nowhere town, smallest village with a microbrewery like in the country. Their beer is terrible. It has an off flavor. But I think Bob knows what brewery I'm talking about. He's standing behind me mumbling. They think it's supposed to taste that way. That's their house flavor. Right? So if you have tasted this beer after all these times and everybody says, leave it in primary a month, that's the best. You probably like it, I guess. Or I don't know, but
that's the kind of company I can market for. Like, oh, yeah, let me spin this. We could do this.
Let me spin this. It's full of yeast character. Yeah. New.
That's right.
Diacetyl, though, he was specifically talking about butterbeer and diacetyl. Diacetyl, especially with lagers, certain lager yeast will allow a lot of diacetyl. And you do want that to clean up. But again, don't rack it till it's cleaned up. But we're talking about active yeast. We're talking about yeast in suspension that are doing the work, not the flocculated out yeast. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of clean up those flavors.
Yeah. Let me end this with a story that I think I may have told you before, but I still love telling it. There was a brewery in the Keg Connection LLC general area, like as in within like a 2 mile or 2 hour radius. A lot closer than that.
2 mile narrows it down a little bit too much.
I know, right? 2 hour. It was really a 40-minute. I'll just say 40-minute. It was in Brownwood. It was not our buddy Wes. Everyone could surmise from here, but they obviously had a batch of diacetyl, and instead of tossing it, they rebranded it as Grandma's Butterscotch. And what gets even better, that people were on their Facebook like praising, this is the best. It reminds me of Grandma. Like that people were praising it, and they've never redone it. You know what I mean? Obviously, it wasn't like a house batch. Like it was like their blonde that they probably fermented too warm or whatever. But there you are. I'd lost you for a second.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I won't edit that out because that would take work. But I do have the time now, though. That's the worst part. I have the time. I have the time. Anyways, but yeah, Grandma's Butterscotch. That's what. Next time my pop and I ruin a batch, I gotta figure out a better way to market it. Not.
Well, I saw somebody on Homebrew Talk, which I still admin, having a smoky ashtray-like flavor in his beer, and we were talking about ways. But now I'm wondering if, okay, you got Grandma's butterbeer, maybe we can have Grandpa's ashtray.
There we go, Grandpa's ashtray with Grandpa.
I'm gonna write to him right now and tell him nostalgia.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sells. Nostalgia sells. What did Norm Macdonald call that? Memory's ugly, inefficient twin or something. Nostalgia. But he had a good way with words. But Nate, thank you so much for submitting that question.
Yes,
Lorena,
that was a great question.
That's all I have for you this week. I sincerely appreciate you stepping up to the plate and doing the show with me again. It's always a pleasure seeing you, even if before we recorded it was just 20 minutes of making fun of me. But I still appreciate it. You know.
You know, you shouldn't make it so easy.
I know. You're right. God forbid I look like this and go out in public. I'm asking for it. Yeah.
There's a reason you work in a little room.
There is a reason. I would show my office is still a wreck, but I would pan around my 140 square foot office to show you the cave I hide from all the estrogen in my house. This is my...
And it's soundproof too.
It is. It is. Yeah. Let me see if I can at least show the ceiling part. Yeah. Look, it's completely soundproofed, and I could show most of it. I won't show the floor. That's what's really messed up. But yeah, the office, it is my respite. My house is flooded with estrogen, and this is where I go to get away.
Well, where is your dog?
He comes in here for 2 minutes and then cries to go back in the main house.
So he likes the estrogen.
He'll come out here and be like, and he'll sit at my feet. I'm like, oh yeah, we're two boys. We're real men. And then 2 minutes later,
so you let Murray out.
Yeah. Murray comes in. He comes in long enough to leave a bunch of dog hair and then put him back in the house.
That doesn't take long at all. I have one too.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all.
I think I took her to the groomer the other day. She needed a bath and everything, her nails cut and everything. It got brushed, and I looked through the window and she's standing there getting brushed. She gets out and I touch her and it goes. I'm like, how did you grow new hair in the last 30 seconds?
Dude, I think that same way every time I trim my ears and nose hairs. I'm like, wait, like 2 days later.
Just talk about having it. You should talk to your doctor. Maybe they could like transplant it from here to here.
Would. Are you kidding me? Just for the bit. I would love my ear hair on my head. I think that'd be hilarious. Like the weird stringy. I'd look like a Charlie Brown character. Like I would look animated and be like, whoa, look at me. Anyways,
maybe that would not be a good look. I got to think more about that one.
Yeah, but like I said, my mom says I have a good personality. Anyways, Lorena, thank you so much.
That's the important thing.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll do it again soon.
Thank you.